Myst VR is a weird game, not in terms of the world, story, or puzzles, but just how many flaws it has. This original cult classic came out for the Mac in 1993, and ever since, there have been remasters, sequels, ports, and even books, all based around this legendary game. But the issue with playing this game today, especially in VR, is that it's 28 years old, and this game hasn't held up in the slightest. It's a frustrating, confusing, overcomplicated mess that is rendered all the worse in virtual reality, and yet, in a strange way, I loved it. It's a game that you can just live in until completion. Every waking moment is consumed by this strange urge to return to this other world and learn the deep lore behind it. This is honestly the most conflicting review I've ever done. It's readily apparent at all times that this game was not initially developed for VR. It's clearly a PC game brought up to VR with little effort. Though on the other hand, it forces you to radically shift your entire mindset in terms of solving puzzles. This entire game is a double-edged sword. But let's start at the beginning. A voice speaks out to you, narrating in a calm but expressive tone. He speaks of the Myst book, and you see a man falling through the cracks of time. As you place your hand on a mysterious book in front of you, you become transformed. The screen turns black, and you enter the world of Myst. A fantastical land filled with various ages, realms, time periods, and even a warlord or two. This is where the game truly begins. You wake up near a dock, with the tip of a sail poking outwards above the rough water. This is the main hub world of the game. Myst Island is where most of your playtime will reside. There's a secret cave, submarine, generator room, a mysterious island with an assortment of burnt books, a clock tower extended outwards in the water, a wooden shack, gargantuan tree, a room filled with stars, and various secret areas on top of that. The island is ripe with the stench of mystery as well. Without any clues, hints, or backstory, you are dropped straight into this massive place. But thankfully, there's a note placed upon a boulder directly in front of you. It gives you the clue to flip these switches and insert the number of them down in this cave-looking area. It plays a holographic message and tells you of the books found in the library down near the center of the island. While there's only a handful of books, each has several pages that you can sit down and read if you want. Unfortunately, though, you have to hold the grab button at all times, otherwise the book just falls to the ground. Also, unless the book is positioned just so, the text gets all blurry and messed up. Anyways, this is basically the actual real start of the game. This is also where the puzzles start. Essentially, you need to gain access to a secret room behind the bookshelf and find a clue in there. These clues are always just numbers or dates. Each one correlates to a different room on the island. Solving a room leads to a book. These books are the key to the game of Myst. As before, touching them yields to an entirely new world. These are known as ages. Throughout the game, you'll explore these different ages and search for blue and red pages. Now, I won't say what these accomplish, since the real joy of the game is discovering it out for yourself, but suffice it to say, the story of Myst is an elaborate, twisty tale that is ingenious in its execution. After you gather the red and blue pages for an age, leaving these fantastical realms is a journey on its own. In order to find a book out of the place, you need to solve puzzles, and these puzzles are pretty ridiculous. For example, in the first age, there are dozens upon dozens of wine bottles, pots, potions, and extra little gadgets you can interact with. It's here that the biggest issue with Myst VR lies. See, in a traditional VR puzzler, such as the Room of Dark Matter, the game only gives you what it wants you to use. Basically, any interactive objects are clues. They are objects that you use to solve puzzles. In Myst, they throw whatever at you for no reason. You may think that by switching a lever a certain way or pouring a specific mixture of wine, it may unlock the next area of the game, but you're wrong. The puzzles in the game were made for flat-screen devices. No puzzle randomizer or enhanced graphics will ever change the fact that this is a 1993 game at heart. The puzzles simply weren't designed for VR, and it shows. At the end of the day, this entire game feels made for flat-screen devices, not the hyper-immersive nature of virtual reality. But then again, the way it forces your mind to conform to these flawed puzzles is extraordinary. It's weird because it's so ridiculously hard to mention one of the many flaws with this game without also discussing the positives. And truth be told, when you do finally crack the case on a puzzle, the level of satisfaction is unlike any puzzler out there. The story is well thought out but confusing. The puzzles were made for the 90s, yet have a charming brutality to them. The world is blurry but fully realized. So really, despite Myst VR having the most glaring flaws of any game I have ever reviewed, it still manages to be one of the best games I've ever played, and also one of the worst. It's this strange blend of frustrating and satisfying that somehow leads to one of the most immersive games ever.